Yeah, hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about some of the microprocessors. So that is 80286, 80386 and 80486 microprocessors. So basically these are the extended versions of 8086 microprocessor. Already we know that the features of 8086 microprocessor. So it is a first 16-bit microprocessor. So it is having a 20-bit address bus, 16-bit data bus. So it is given by the Intel Corporation, and also this is a first. It is a first 16-bit microprocessor. Before that, we are having that 8085. That is the 8-bit microprocessor. So before that 8085, we were have that 4004. That is the first 4-bit microprocessor. So like this, what is it for every microprocessor? They are extending the features. Some of the features are extended, and they are introducing. So the new processor, that means extended version of the microprocessor. So like that also, when we extend some of the features to the 8086 microprocessor, so we got some more other processors like 80286, 386, 486. And other processors, that is Pentium microprocessor is also present. So after that we are having Pentium dual core 2 GU, and now we are having the next generations of Pentium P3, P5, and so many microprocessors we are getting. That means for all the microprocessor, they are extending. We are extending the features. We are adding the more features to the previous microprocessor. Then we are getting that the present version of the extended version of the microprocessors. So and in that, what is that, we are having more advanced features. So the clock speed is high, and also the fast rate of processing is present by the extended version of the processors. So when we see the comparison between these microprocessors like 80286, 386 and 486, so when they are introduced in the 1982, the 80286 is introduced. In the 1985, 80386 is introduced, and in the 1989, 80486 is introduced. So basically 80286 process 16. Okay, that means it is a 16-bit microprocessor. So the first 32-bit microprocessor is the 80386, and the 80486 is the 32. It is also a 32-bit microprocessor. So already we know that 8086 microprocessor is a dual in line package, DIP package of manufacturing is present. So when we have that, that means 40 pin. So in the case of 8086, it is a 40 pin IC chip. So here in the case of 80286, it is a 16-bit IC chip. So having in a package of leadless package here. So next one in the 80386, when we see that it is a 132-bit 132 pin of IC containing in a PGA package, pin grid array package. And then the 80486, it is a 168 pin IC chip. So it is also present in pin grid array package. So when we see the process of technology, so basically 8086 is a CMOS technology. So here also it is a 80286 is a CHMOS technology, and 386 486 also. So CHMOS technology of process is manufactured. So what are the clock rates? So basically the 8086 microprocessor is having up to 10 megahertz. Here we are having in the case of 80286, it is 10 to 16 megahertz of clock frequency, and 80386 is having 12 to 40 megahertz, and 80486 is having 16 to 100 megahertz. So when we see the number of address lines, the 8086 microprocessor is having 20 address lines, whereas in the 80286 it is 24 bits address lines, and 80386 is 32 bits, and 80486 is also having 32 bits of address lines are present. So what are the data lines we are having? The number of data lines when we see in the 8086 microprocessor, so it is a 16 bits of 16 data lines are present. In the 80286 it is having 16 bits, in the 80386 32 bits, and The 80486 also 32 bits of data lines are present. So based on the address lines, we are calculating the physical memory of the microprocessor. That means in the case of 8086, how we are calculating? So here in the case of 8086, we are having 20 address lines are present. So based on the 20 address lines, we are having the formula of 2 power n, 2 power 20. That means 1 MB of memory is present. So here also, based on the address lines, here 24 bits of address lines are present in 80286. That's why what is the 2 power 24, that is equals to 16 MB of physical memory is present for the 80286. So for the 80386, 32 bits are address lines are present. So 2 power 32, that is equals to 4 GB of physical memory is present. And for the 80486, so also same 32 address lines are there. So 2 power 32, that means 4 GB of physical memory is present. So the exact what is that, the same 80386 and 80486 are having the same features, only some of the extended features like 132 PGA and 168. 80386 is having 132 pin IC, and 80486 is 168 pin IC. And next one, what is the virtual memory? So virtual memory for the 80286 is the 1 GB. So same as the 8086. So in the case of 80386, it is 64 terabytes are present, and for the 80486 also 64 terabytes. So what are the how many number of caches are present here? The 80286, there is no caches are present, same as 80286, and 80386 is also not having the cache, no cache is present, and only for the 80486 we are having one cache memory is present, that is included in the memory. So what are the how many instruction pipelining? Is that instruction pipelining is present? Pipelining stage is present for the 80286. That means 80286 does not have any pipeline structure, but in the case of 80386 and 486, they are having the instruction pipeline. That means for every generation we are getting some of the features. We are adding some of the features to that microprocessor. Then the processing speed and the more features, the less consumption of the time, more number of instructions are processed, and we are getting the more advanced features of microprocessor. So these are the some of the comparisons and features of 80286, 386 and 486. So when we see that 80486, it is having more features compared to 8086, 286 and 386. So when we extend some of the features, that means when we add some of the features to 80486, then we are getting one more new processor, that is named as Pentium microprocessor. So if you see that Pentium microprocessor, so this is the architecture for the Pentium microprocessor. So here we are having different branches. What is the different blocks are present here? So basically it is divided into the core execution unit. Okay, so the one more is called as integer pipeline unit, and the third stage is called as floating point pipeline unit. So basically it is divided into the three. Okay, so core execution unit is having the two cache memories are present, code cache and data cache. So code cache is 64 bits and data cache is 64 bits, and the integer pipeline unit, so basically it is containing 256 bits. So basically Pentium microprocessor is the 64-bit microprocessor. That's why 64 bits of data can be transferred at a time. So in the case of integer pipeline units, we are having different blocks like prefetch buffers, and two pipes are present. That means pipeline structure is present for the Pentium microprocessor. So two pipelines are present, U pipe and V pipe. That means two ALUs are present. That means the total 64 bits of data bits can be divided into two. So that means two ALUs, two operating units, integer ALUs like U pipe and V pipe. Each pipe containing 32 bits. Okay, it processes up to 32 bits of operation. That means when we perform any operation, so we should have that memory for storing the data and results. Also for that one we are having the register set is present. So in between this integer unit and code cache, so we are connection, that means connection between the code cache and data cache is present here. So one more branch is that is called as in the core execution unit only we are having, that is branch prediction is present. We will see what it means here. So next one is we are having floating point pipeline unit. So in this case also we are having one floating point of pipeline unit is present. So for the floating point of operations we are using, so for the integer of operations we are using integer pipeline unit, and for the floating point operations we are using pipeline floating point unit. So in the case of floating point pipeline unit we are having three cases: multiplier, adder and divider here. So when we see the block diagram of the Intel microprocessor, that is Pentium microprocessor, so basically the functional block diagram of this Pentium microprocessor is divided into three units called as, first one is the core execution unit, and second one is integer pipeline unit, and the third one is the floating point pipeline unit. So what are these, what are the functions of these different units? So here when we see the first one, that is called as core execution unit. So this unit contains the code cache and data cache and branch predictions. These are the main blocks present in this one. So Pentium uses a separate 8 KB code cache and 8 KB of data cache as the superscalar design. So superscalar architecture, basically Pentium processor is having a architecture of superscalar architecture. That means it has a separate cache memories, 8 KB of code cache memory and 8 KB of data cache memory is present. The next one is branch prediction, that demands more bandwidth than unified cache. So it means it offers more bandwidth. We can use more bandwidth, then we can have the more clock frequency. When the number of clock cycles are increasing, means more number of data can be processed within a less time. So next one is the parallel execution of data memory reference requires simultaneous access of loading and storing. So simultaneously we can load and stores the data. That means it is called as a parallel execution of data. So it is a special feature that is present in the Pentium microprocessor, parallel execution of data memory reference. So basically, so when we are loading, so after that what is that, execution is processing and storing is going to happen. That means after execution the result is stored. So when the result is executing, then what is in that case only we can load the next bytes of data. So we can load and store the data at a time by using the Pentium microprocessor, that is by using the core execution unit. So the second one what we are having, that is called as integer pipeline unit. So basically it has a 5 stages of integer pipeline unit, that is we are having prefetch unit is present, instruction decode is present, address generation, execution and write back stages are present here. So what is meant by prefetch? In the prefetch stage of the pipeline, the CPU fetches the instruction from the introduction of cache, so which stores the information to be executed. That means prefetch, we are fetching before only. So what is our fetches the instruction from the code cache. Okay, so before fetching only what is that, we can store that information. We can store the information in the code cache. So instruction decode. So in this stage the CPU decodes the instructions and generates the control board. So already we know that. So decoding stage means that it is performing after the fetching stage. So when we fetch the data that is present in the memory, so directly it is going to the decoder, so it can decode. That means it is reading the data, the operands. Okay, so it is the CPU is reads the opcode data and operands data that is present in that instruction. So based on that it generates the control board for that one. So based on the control board, what is that, we are generating the addresses also. So how we are generating the address generation? So in this stage the control board from the previous stage is again decoded for final execution, and CPU generates address for the data memory references. So when we are generating the control board, that means what is that, again we are decoding in the for the final execution and generates the addresses for the memory. That means when we get the final result, then it is already stored in that memory, and it is the CPU generating that addresses for that memory locations, memory references, also data memory references. So after the address generation, already we know that execution is present. So in the execution stage, the CPU executes the data operands here. So after execution also, what is that, we can write back. That means in the final stage, the CPU updates the register contents. So every microprocessor is getting the 4 stages of operation. So basically that is called as fetching operation, decoding, and in the case of the decoding only, we are generating that address and executing, and after that storing or write back, storing the data into the registers. So already we know that fetching means what is that, we are taking the instructions from the other processors or from the input devices, and decoding. The fetched instructions are decoding one by one. That means reading the data present in that instruction, opcodes and operands. So after that executing. So after decoding, we are having the execution. So performing the operations that is specified in the instruction based on the opcodes. So after that execution, we are getting the some of the results. That results are so stored in the memory temporarily, or in the case of the registers, or else they are given back. That means the results are shown to the output. That means given to the output device. That means the write back stage. So the third unit what we are having in this one, that is called as floating point unit. So there are 3 internal units basically we are having, that is called as adder, divider and multiplier. So therefore these 3 types of floating point operations can be operated simultaneously, so within the floating point unit. So we are having that for the complex type of the instructions, we are using the floating point unit. So basically the floating point unit performing the 3 operations. 3 operators are present here. So we already shown in the diagram, that is adder, divider and multiplier is present. So they can do the simultaneous operations also, addition, division and multiplication also, by using separately when we require, when any instruction contains 2 operations at a time. That means it can perform simultaneously by using those adders, dividers and multipliers. So basically the FPU, the floating point unit, is a 8-stage pipeline. The first 3 stages are identical to the integer pipeline, and the next stage are operand fetch, next one first execute, second execute, register write and error reporting stage. So these 8 stages are explaining here. So the first 3 stages are same as the integer pipeline stages. The next 5 stages, what are the next 5 stages? So in that one, the first one is the operand fetch stage, next one is first execute stage, and the next one is the second execute stage. After that register write stage is present, and error reporting stage. So total we are having that 8 stages of the floating point unit is present in the Pentium microprocessor. So what are the features? That means comparisons when we compare with other microprocessor, and what are the features of the advanced Pentium microprocessors. So basically a salient features of Pentium microprocessor is its superscalar architecture and super pipelined architecture. So already we seen that in the Pentium microprocessor only we are having that it is a separately we are having stages of the pipelines are there. Integer pipeline is present, floating point pipeline is present. That means superscalar, at a time we can perform more number of operations. That means that is called a superscalar and super pipeline architecture. So the superscalar architecture of Pentium contains 3 independent processing units. Already we seen that. So one of the processing unit is called as floating point processing unit, and 2 integer processing units labeled as U and V. In the case of the integer processing units, we are having these pipes also, U pipe and V pipe by the Intel. This enhances the speed of integer arithmetic of Pentium to charge extent. That means more number of integer what is the integer operations can be performed at a time. So already we know that it performs 64 bits of operations. Those 64 bits also again dividing into two pipes of U pipe and V pipe. Each pipeline is taking the 32 bits of operations simultaneously. At a time we can perform more number of we can execute more number of instructions. So already we know that it is requiring a power supply of 5 volts and 3.3 volts of the current. So it can address up to 4 GB of physical memory. So how we are calculating the physical memory here? Based on the address lines. So already we know that Pentium microprocessor is a 64-bit microprocessor. So it is having a 64 bits of address bus is present. So that's why we are having that 4 GB of physical memory can be calculated. So it has a numeric coprocessor is present, and more number of what is that clock frequency. The operating clock frequency is from 60 to 100 hertz here. So 100 megahertz is present for the Pentium microprocessor. That means more amount of clock frequency means more number of clock cycles. That means more number of operations can be performed by the microprocessor. So we know that the Pentium contains 8 kilobytes of instruction cache and 8 kilobytes of data cache. So two types of the caches are present here, data cache and the instruction cache. So code cache and data cache are present. So both are of 8 kilobytes. So the Pentium microprocessor is packaged in a huge 237 pin PG. So it is an important one. So the number of pins that are present for the Pentium microprocessor are 237 pins. Okay. So it is also present in the package of PGA, pin grid array package. So when we compare with all the previous processors like 80286, 386 and 486, it has more number of features, features like superscalar and super pipeline architecture. That's why so most of the in the computers, in our laptops, we are using the Pentium microprocessor. At present stage only we are having different types of the Pentium processors, more advanced Pentium processors also we are having, Pentium P3, P5, so Core 2 dual core. So many features are adding to the Pentium processor, previous processor. Then we are getting more number of features present. We are getting a more advanced processing structure is getting. So this is about the Pentium microprocessor architecture of the Pentium microprocessor. What are the features of the Pentium microprocessor? So when we revise once, so the architecture of the Pentium microprocessor. So it is having the 3 stages of the unit are present. So first unit is called as core execution unit. So it contains 3 blocks. One is called as code cache, second one is called data cache, and third one is called as a branch prediction. So the second stage is integer pipeline unit. So in the integer pipeline unit, the main blocks are prefetch buffers, and 2 pipes are present, integer ALUs are present, U pipe and V pipe. Each pipeline is containing 32 bits. 32 bits of ALU is present. That means 32 bits of operations integer operations can be performed simultaneously by using the 2 ALUs, arithmetic and logic units. So after performing that 32 bits of operation, the memory, what is the data and opcode instructions and the intermediate results are stored, that is by using the register set here. So here the third stage, what is that we are having floating point pipeline unit. The floating point pipeline unit is basically using for performing the arithmetic and logical operations. That means complex type of operations can be done by using FPU. So here we are having 3 main blocks called as multiplier, adder and divider. Multiplier, so this unit, the specialty of this unit is it can perform the 3 types of operations simultaneously. Okay, so When any instruction is containing addition, multiplication and division, it can perform the three operations simultaneously within the FPE unit only, and giving back the result in a very less time. That's why it is a more features are it contains more number of features, so that we are getting that result also at less time, and more number of instructions can be executed. So it is a 64 bits of bus interface is also present here. Yeah, thank you very much.